Hey, hello everybody. This is Noemi Banchi, and we are broadcasting from Valley Heights in New South Wales, Australia. And we are going, you see the title today. So, the objective, the what we are going to talk is about the cause and effect law. And just to understand or to think about this law, first of all, this is one of the universal laws. There are 7 universal laws. We talk about one already, and that was mentalism. And it says that what we think and what we believe, we manifest. Or what we think, what we feel, what we say, and what we do determine our life. Have you had a situation in which you are pissed off? Or it sucks? Well, I think that maybe it's because of someone else. Or because, well, you blame someone because that happened to you. Or sometimes we heard that, oh, that was a miracle and only God can perform miracles. Well, if we understand this law, then there is no more miracles. It's in fact a law. The difference is if you know or you don't know. So let's get started. This is in this book, Unveiled Mysteries by Guy Ballard, because Guy Ballard, met Saint-Germain in Mount Shasta in 1930, and Saint-Germain explained this law to Guy Ballard. So then he wrote this book. But Guy Ballard explained all this like a kind of literature is kind of a story that you read, and so you can read between the lines to understand or to pick up all this Saint-Germain's teaching. So Saint-Germain says, the unfortunate condition in human consciousness that keeps individuals in their self-created limitations is their attitude of mind, which either fears or ridicules what it does not understand, or what is still worse, in its ignorance says that is impossible. So there are 3 scenarios here. When something happened, the person might be afraid of that situation, or just laugh at that, saying, just is, childish, or what is worse, that it says is impossible. Well, that is exactly the opposite of an open mind. In other words, there is a person who ignores something, and for that reason they're afraid of. They believe that cannot happen, or they just laugh because they don't understand. And this picture, I'm going to give you like a few seconds to see, to watch, to look at it, and think or observe and share. What do you think? What do you see? It's the representation of reincarnation. Then one person cannot. So I should start by questioning, why are you here? Why were you born? Do you have a purpose? Your purpose is just suffer? No. Work? No, really. Although it's good to have a job, but you're not working when you're a child, or you're not working when you're over 60 or 65. So what is your purpose here? The purpose is to learn. And the law of re-embodiment is the activity in human growth that gives the individual an opportunity to reestablish a balance in conditions that he has consciously caused to be thrown out of balance. Okay, let's start again. The law of re-embodiment is the activity in human growth that gives the individual an opportunity to reestablish a balance in conditions that he has consciously caused to be thrown out of balance. It is but one activity of the law of cause and effect. So we cannot blame anyone but us for what happened to us, because we are the cause, and the effect is what you see. This is just the embodiment is just part of this. Some people call this law karma, and other people just identify this karma with always something negative, but can be something positive. Karma means action. You do something and then there is a consequence after that. Yes, in physics is what Newton explained in that law, that everything has an effect. Even if you do nothing, it also has a consequence. Well, in this regard, is to understand that through the period of time that you are on Earth, could be 70, 80, 90-ish years, you do a lot of things, and that implies a lot of consequences. Sometimes you have enough time to, let's say, suffer the bad effect, or enjoy the good effects. And why we suffer or enjoy, it depends of the cause. Let's say, for example, you teach someone, your kid or someone, or you have students, then someone else will teach you. What about if you punch someone? Well, someone else will punch you, and that is the law of cause and effect. Is to learn that is good, so you keep going doing that, or if it's something bad, well, you will suffer, and then you will learn that, well, that is not the way, and you need to change it. So Saint-Germain says there is no such thing as chance or accident. There is not such thing. Forget about accident, forget about chance, because it's the law of cause and effect. And if you know this law, then you can understand first, and you can use this law in your favor and learn from it. Have you seen a person, or maybe you are the person who has a situation that is repeating over and over again, and then you say, well, but this is like deja vu, I already saw this, or it's like this already happened, maybe with a different person, but you still know that happened. Well, that is the law of cause and effect acting, because you have not done what you should, and it's going and going again. And this is an example of, what is it? Well, a grandma with her daughter and then a baby. So we have 3 generations here. Now, have you ever thought that you chose your parents? Regardless if they were good or bad parents, and that is depends on what your judgment is. Because what matters is they were your parents, or they are your parents, and you chose them before you were born. I'm going to say it again. You chose your parents. So if you think that you are here on earth just because your parents did something in bed and then you are here, well, let me tell you, it is not. Why? Well, how many people on earth try to, have a baby, and they can't? Well, that is because the person decides where, when. Wouldn't say the person, actually is the soul. We are spirit, soul, and personality. Well, you as your soul, your inner self, you decide a plan. And so you have a plan that where you are going to be born, your parents, the city, the time, the country, the house, etc., etc., etc. So then when you are a parent, maybe mother or father, is when they chose you to be their parents. And that gives a lot of answers. And you might be thinking of those children who are born with a condition, physical condition, mental condition, physiological condition. Well, that is answered by this law of cause and effect. That and to understand that death is not the end of life, it's just the end of a birth. And then you can be born again. Like I said at the beginning, some people understand this and they think this okay. Some people may have a little bit of more time to understand, and it's absolutely perfect. It's up to you. And let me tell you this, one is given a chance to right the wrong we have done. If you decide to do the right thing, then you, let's say in this in this way. Let's put it in this way. You pay your debt. That's it. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's love. Sometimes can be different things. But you have the chance to do the right thing with that person, yes. Saint-Germain took Guy Ballard to an ancient temple in Luxor, Egypt. And there was a priest, an assisting priest, and a Vestal Virgin guarding the sacred fire. And in the book, Saint-Germain explains that the priest was, Saint-Germain took Guy Ballard to this temple, okay? So he explained, you were the assisting priest. So Guy Ballard was looking at himself as the assistant priest. The priest was in that incarnation, his son, Donald. And the Vestal Virgin was his wife at that time, Lotus. So a prince entered the temple planning to seize the Vestal Virgin. Stop, commanded the priest. Raised his hand, and a flame flashed out, and the prince fell lifeless to the floor. Now, what is the reading of this story? So first of all, about the re-embodiment, about the reincarnation, that Saint-Germain worked with Guy Ballard in different times. And the prince here was with bad intentions. He went to seize the Vestal Virgin. So the priest knew that his intentions weren't good, so he decided to stop him. Now, you might think that the priest did something like kill that person, but actually he didn't kill. He just used the authority to stop that person, and his actions returned to him. It's kind of this, like a lightning. And you see this picture here. Why? Because I saw a movie the other day where, and actually I saw the love cause and effect in this movie. And is a damsel, when she was standing and the dragon came to burn her, of course, and she was in a position that the fire went to the dragon itself. So he burned by his own fire. And this is exactly what happened with this prince. He fell lifeless onto the floor, but because his actions, his intention was bad, and then he had in return his own energy. The priest didn't do something wrong. He just stopped him or avoid doing any wrongdoing by stop. So you can stop things or people. Just stop. And Karma and the violet fire went for a walk. The violet fire was bigger than what was supposed to work. This is Rubens Sedenius' words. Which means is, karma is going to happen. So is the law. Is the law of cause and effect. But we know the violet fire. So the violet fire is the energy that we can use to transmute, to dissolve all the mistakes we made in the past. We are not saints. We made a lot of mistakes, consciously or unconsciously. And the violet fire is forgiveness. Put it in that way. If someone does something to you and hurt your feelings, okay, you have your right to be angry. But also that anger will make you sick and you will suffer from that. So what about if you forgive that situation, you forgive that person, and you will set you free by forgiveness. And forgiveness and violet fire are synonyms. They are the same. Is the way that the violet fire acts is through forgiveness. You can you may have reasons to be angry with that person or with that situation, and you might be happy if that person died. Okay, but let me tell you that if you forgive, you will be free from a lot of suffering. And you can ask forgiveness to that person, and the person might or might not forgive you, but it's not your business. Your business is to forgive. So if you have done something wrong, ask for forgiveness. If the person doesn't forgive you because they don't want, because they have free will, it's okay. It's not up to you, but you ask for forgiveness. Now, in order to the violet fire to work, we need to be aware of what was the mistake, what we have done wrong, because it's not going to work just for the sake of saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." No, the thing is we need to be aware why we are sorry, why we want forgiveness, and then that will act. And the other thing is, when you did something wrong, what about if someone did something wrong to you? Well, in that case, the person might or might not come here to say to you, "I'm sorry for what I've done." In that case, you don't have to wait for them to ask you for forgiveness. You can forgive in your own place. Just practice. Don't believe me. Don't believe a word I'm saying. Just do it. I remember Ruben Cedeño, the first time he used the violet fire, he said, "Although I don't believe in the violet fire, but because my teacher believes in the violet fire, I'm going to use the violet fire." And this is how he started. And the thing he used this violet fire is to delete a situation. He was a kid, he was a teenager, and he was in the high school, I think, or university, I'm not sure, but he had an exam, and he said he failed, although he has not the score, but he knew he failed that exam. So his teacher said to him, use the violet fire to transmute this situation. So he said, okay, I will do it. Although I don't believe in the violet fire, but because Katyuska believes, Katyuska was his teacher, I am the violet fire transmuting this situation. What was the result? Well, then the teacher came to say, look everybody, I don't know what happened, but all the scores were missed, so we need to do the exam again. And he had the highest score ever. So that is the use of the violet fire. So what I want to say is, although you don't believe the first time, although you don't feel like, oh really, I feel like I can forgive that person, it's okay. Just do it. Just repeat it. And this is the decree. I am the violet fire transmuting all the mistakes made by me and everyone else. And again, I am the violet fire transmuting all the mistakes made by me and everyone else. One more time. I am the violet fire transmuting all the mistakes made by me and everyone else. Thank you, Father. Every time you ask for something, always remember to ask that for everyone else. This is the best way to be unselfish, to protect yourself, to not act in a selfish way. That is another story, very interesting story about in this. It is in the book, and it says that Saint Germain asked Guy Ballard to meet him, and so Guy Ballard went to the place, waiting for him, and he saw this panther. Oh my God! And the first thing he felt was fear. This animal is going to kill me. It's going to hurt me. And then he thought, okay, hang on, no. And he thought one part of God cannot harm another part. And he radiated this feeling through this decree to that animal. So he thought, okay, one part of God cannot harm another part. And that produced that the animal, like kind of a kitty, came to him very calm, and then the master came and he said, you conquered fear. That is amazing. That story is really cool. And I hope it's not just a story. It's to learn something. It's for you to do the same. Don't be afraid. Just think one part of God cannot harm another part. Even if it's an animal or a person. And this I thought about this the other day when I was watching, these videos that you watch and watch. Well, I was watching one of these videos in which the person was just grabbing a snake with his bare hands. And I thought, he is not afraid of that snake. He's not the outfit. And this is something like psychologists know better, is that when the person is afraid of something, spiders, whatever, it's not just the animal itself, it's the feeling. So we work to transmit that feeling. So this is the degree, if you want to work on. One part of God cannot harm another part. And to transmute that situation. So we had two things today. We talk about the law of cause and effect, how to transmute things with the violet fire, how to transmute the negative causes into positive effects, and then the authority that we can use to transmute things, to transmute our feelings, to transmute our words, to transmute our thoughts, and to transmute our actions. One part of God cannot harm another part, and just have another outcome completely different. And that's it for today. Well, thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye for now.